Hey there retro fans, welcome back to RGF RetroGameForce. And if you follow my channel, you know that I was quite disappointed that I didn't get my Mega Drive Mini in day one. I had to wait a couple of weeks before I could put my hands on my Sega Mega Drive Mini. But when I finally got it, I was very happy because I have a big nostalgia with the Sega Mega Drive Model 1. Exactly, this was the console I grew up with, and now is the time to do not only a fast review. I will do a quick review because everyone had reviewed this device already all over the internet, but I will do a quick review and I also will do a classic comparison. I will compare the system on a socket, the system emulation here that we have done by M2 on our Sega Mega Drive Mini, and compare it with the real hardware, the real thing. So, and I will use my OSSC to make sure I can give you the best quality possible. So RGB quality coming out of my Sega Model 1, Sega Mega Drive Model 1, but I will also do something special. I will tear down the 3-button controller, the original 3-button controllers that were coming out with the Sega Mega Drive, and also tear down here the Sega Mega Drive Mini that has, very good feeling into it. So let's check inside how they compare to each other. So guys, as usual, stay tuned! So Sega really took their time, and when they announced this system, they really took their time to make sure that they will get the best Mini in the market. And I believe they succeeded. And if you look at the attention to detail, it's incredible how this looks exactly the same as the real old Sega Mega Drive Model 1, and they actually include also moving parts, and both Nintendo and Sony didn't actually include this moving part. So you can see that you can move the audio controller for the audio jack that doesn't exist, but anyhow you still can do, you still can move it. You can reset to go to menu, power on, power off, and interesting, you can put cartridges inside. Even if there's no cartridges, you don't need it, but the mechanic is there. And also on top, you can remove the side to plug in a Sega CD. And guys, this is really attention to detail that none of the Sega competitors on the mini market were able to deliver except from Sega. So, attention to details. This small console is also coming with this controller, the 3-button controller, the classic 3-button controller, which is huge, by the way. If you don't remember how huge this is, you will notice it when you grab one. So, and the quality of this controller is also amazing. And okay, people are saying, yeah, but you missed the 6-button controllers. Yes, but this one has a big portion of nostalgia. So this was the controller that I had back then, and if they were pointing to nostalgia, this is great. And by the way, the feel is very similar of what you had back then. And of course I have here original controllers, and I will open this one and the original so we can compare what we have inside and how they actually build this to be so similar of the original thing. Now going back from outside to inside, the software development on this device was done by M2, and M2 always delivers quality independent of what project they are working with. They are really good, they are really experienced with Sega license, so we can expect really good emulation out of this system. The user interface, as you can see here, is a bit different from what we have, for example, on the Nintendo mini consoles, because here we have kind of a modern user interface, and for me it fits like a glove, because the Sega Mega Drive Model 1 was always kind of futuristic, and this UI, this user interface, actually works really well with this system. One thing that I have to mention, and everyone had already mentioned this over and over again, but I will do it again, is if you change the language of the system for Japanese, you will get the Japanese games, you will get the ROMs from Japan, and you also get the user interface from the Japanese region. And this is again a very much attention to details that Sega and M2 implemented on this awesome system. So should we go now for the video comparison of some games? Yeah, let's go for the video comparison of some games running here on the Mega Drive Mini against the official real hardware Sega Mega Drive Model 1. So, as I promised in the beginning of the video, I will open up these two controllers, the Sega Mega Drive Mini Controller and an official 3-button controller coming from our original Sega Mega Drive Model 1. So, I will skip forward because, yeah, 6 Phillips screws I need to unscrew, so in this case 12. So, fast forward. So here they are, tiered down controllers, and I'm really sorry if the camera shakes a little bit because I'm doing the video on my mobile phone. And here is the mini controller plastic, and here is the classic. Okay, the classic has some scuffs and some usage, of course, so many years of using Mega Drive, but they are very similar. And the size is exactly the same. Exactly the same thing. So Sega actually did a very good job to making sure that you have exactly the same look and feel on the controller from outside. And if you see here, the D-pad is stuck on the front cover of the controller, and here is not, because they actually, from my point of view, they did a revisit of how the controller of the Mega Drive is mass produced. They actually, for me, simplified the way of you can mass produce these devices, and actually I think they improve it. Now going to the buttons, and that's very important because the buttons have pretty much the same layout, the same everything. If you see, even the screws are the same, and the rubber touch that you have when you press a button is exactly the same, and that's why you have the same feeling when you use the Mega Drive Mini Controller, because it is the same, and that's really awesome from Sega. The D-pad on the classic controller is different because it comes out, but the rubber, even if it's different, will feel the same. Sega just optimized it a little bit because technology is different today, and it's much simpler to have made these controllers. And now if you look at the PCB, you will see this is the Mega Drive Mini one. And of course, this is much simple, pretty much simple compared of what we have on the original Mega Drive. But again, times are different, my friends. Yes, times are different, and it's much easier to build up this kind of simple controllers compared of what we could do, yeah, back then. So guys, here we have the teardown of the Sega Mega Drive Mini Controller against a classic 3-button controllers from back then. I hope you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to leave me a comment, a like, and subscribe to the channel. And as usual, until the next video, bye bye and take care, or sorry, take care and bye bye.